I really want you to understand that your mindset, your beliefs, how you choose to react, your behaviors, your energy, the emotions that you are feeling and embodying are everything. They're creating your reality. And then the way to break out of this is you got to consciously choose, because you're not subconsciously choosing. You're subconsciously choosing to stay in the chaos. You need to consciously choose to make change, to be like, enough is enough. I am done. Welcome back to Wealthy As Fck, the podcast. I'm your host, Kim Kent. And wow, today's topic is something that is so relatable because I've been there so many times, and I just got off a call with a client and she said that I can share this on here. I won't share who she is, but I need to share this with you because if she's going through it, and that's why she's got me to help her. You're probably going through it, or you've been through it, or it might happen again because cycles repeat. I've been there. I've struggled with this as well. And I need to give you the insight on this because it's going to help you. Okay. So we're diving straight in, and this is the part where you've got your financial goals, you want to stop living week to week, you want to make sure you have enough money for all the things you need, including bills and lifestyle choices, like the fun stuff as well. You want to get ahead. We want enough money for all the things, which is fair, which is why you work so hard. And with this is a combination of the energetics and the structure. Or the practical money management. Okay, there's who you are as a person, and how you're choosing consciously and more so unconsciously how to think, feel, and behave, act, react, respond, versus the actual structure and management plan, the organizing of your finances that you have in place to support you. And look, if you're new, if this is the first episode you've ever heard from me, you need to go listen to the other episodes, because I don't want to be spending episodes repeating myself constantly with the same information. But what you've got to understand is that when you want to get ahead financially, at the end of the day, it's about 80% mindset, 20% practical strategy, which if you're a business owner, you would have heard that when it comes to building a business. And it's the same philosophy here. And I've talked about this, like your relationship with money reflects you. How you feel about it, the meaning you put onto money, the stories and beliefs that you developed as a child from your parents teaching you, or the biggest influences in your life, usually it's mum and dad, teaching you about money, and they are handing it to you down from the generational lineage, because they got taught that as well. So what happened here with one of my beautiful clients is, and she's making her way through my Wealthy As Fck blueprint. So this is the actual blueprint. It's a 7-step blueprint to setting up your money management or organizing your finances to create financial freedom with what you already have. It's the structure. Okay. Think about if you want to build your apartment block or your skyscraper, like it needs a foundational structure to support the build and the growth, to scale it. Yeah. So this is the masculine, this is the tangible, practical strategy. And I teach that alongside my Think Rich method and all the other money energetics and money mindset methods that I teach you to rewire the neural pathways. You'll rewire your brain at the subconscious level. And what that means is, if you're like, what are you talking about, Kim? The subconscious, 4 million-ish times stronger than your conscious mind. Your subconscious runs a show. Your subconscious creates your reality. No matter how much you wish yourself into being a millionaire or for it to get easier, if your subconscious is still holding beliefs that rich people are greedy, money is the root of all evil, money is hard, you have to work really hard, I should just be grateful for what I have, I'm not good with money, whatever the stories are at play, that's what's creating your life, okay? So this client has set up the structure, the blueprint, and there's a teething period, right? Once it's not just click your fingers, one and done, yay, bam, thank you, ma'am, whatever the saying is, to get this shit set up. It's it takes some time to you're recalibrating, you're realigning, you're readjusting, you're changing up where your money is going. It now has a path, it now has a plan, it's now organized, it's gone from chaos to organized, it's just finding its flow. And we know that when we try new things, we start new things, we've got to find our flow with it. And she's in that phase of finding the flow. She's got the strategy, but she's in a space where she's like, you know what? Some weeks I'm running my money through the blueprint and some weeks I'm not. And I'll get big chunks of money come in and I won't know what to do with it. And I still feel like I'm going to lose it. And then I have tax bill that I want to pay off in full. But we did already create a plan for it. And do I stick to the plan and the strategy, or do I just pay it off and then repay my savings? And there's just this chaos. There's this scarcity. There's this fear of there's a lack of trust. And I bring this up, and even though you might not have the same exact example happening in your life, but I'm sure, I say this, I'm sure, because I literally talk to women all the time where they're, hey, I've got this credit card bill or this and that. Should I just pay it off in one chunk and then start again? How many times, side note, think about how many times have you actually done that, and where are you now? Are you still, you get into a point in your savings, build it up, and then it ends up paying off a debt, and the cycle continues. So clearly it doesn't work. So we had to have a chat, and the reality of this situation is you can have the structure in place, and she has the structure in place, right? But she's still new to following this. She's set up the 20%, but she's not following it properly. Imagine if you got the blueprint to build your 2-story home and the builders didn't follow the build. They only half-assed it. Some days they followed the plan. They followed the engineering. They followed the measurements. And then other days they kind of just they winged it, like, oh, I'm just going to guess, blah, blah, blah. Now, are you going to be happy with that build knowing that? Are you going to feel safe and supported and stable in your new home? Didn't think so. So this is the reality. You can have the 20% locked and loaded, but if your mindset, if your energy, if your feelings, well, that's the best words to describe it, right? Your feelings, like how you're feeling, how you're holding yourself, how you're choosing to, well, how you're responding, right? How you're reacting and responding. If they're not in alignment with the wealthy person, which is trust, inner stability, inner security, like being able to cultivate that from within, then no wonder you're feeling like things aren't working out. There is no flow. The chaos is still there because you create the chaos from your own energy. The structure doesn't create the chaos. The lack of structure can create the chaos, but once you put the structure in place, I think of a jigsaw puzzle, right? You put the structure in place, you start to build the outside first, you start to get a bit of a, okay, cool, this is seeming easier to do now. Like there's a system to follow. You're matching up colors, you're making sure you're putting things in sections. So you go from a tipped out jigsaw box with half the pieces upside down and all locked into each other and bunched up. And then you start the system and structure of spacing them out, turning them all the right way, finding the edges. And we know when we do this step by step, it starts to create flow to get the desired outcome. So anyway, understanding this, you can have your full structure set up, but if you're not following it, then if you're going to half-ass it, that's why you're feeling like you're getting half-ass results and you feel like you're still stuck in the cycle, stuck in the loop. And I really want you to understand that your mindset, your beliefs, how you choose to react, your behaviors, your energy, the emotions that you are feeling and embodying are everything. They're creating your reality. And then the way to break out of this is you got to consciously choose, because you're not subconsciously choosing. You're subconsciously choosing to stay in the chaos. You need to consciously choose to make change, to be like, enough is enough, I am done. Now, the problem that arises here is the subconscious is so much more stronger than the conscious. So you can make these decisions, but as you start to get back into autopilot, as life happens, you'll start to fall back into the old habits. The fastest and most effective way to shift your energy, change your identity, is to get the support, okay? Get the coaching, get the help. Your ego doesn't want to admit that I need help. Okay, I live there. I have a really strong ego. I lived there for many years. I just wanted to do it all myself and try and change my life myself, but I kept feeling like I was banging my head against the wall and hitting the glass ceiling, and I was getting tired and burnt out, and I just kept questioning, like, why is this not working for me? Why am I not enough? Why do I keep feeling like no matter how many steps forward I take, it's a double the amount of steps backwards? So you have to get someone else who's not looking at your life or caught up in your shit that you're caught up in, so they can pull you through it. Okay, you're being your own bottleneck to the results that you want. So look, you can still try and do it all yourself. As I said, you can do it. It is possible. It just takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time. It doesn't really feel worth it. You get exhausted. But I'm not saying it's impossible. But wealthy people buy time. Rich people buy time, because you can always make more money, but you can never get time back. So if you look at it in that sense, if wealthy people buy time, like, who's going to help me get there faster? Who's going to help me get the results faster? Who's going to help keep me accountable when I can't keep myself accountable for embodying the trust and embodying the stability, embodying the abundance? I don't really like to say the word abundance. It's a bit of a cliche word, but abundance is ever present. And you know that. Consciously, we know that. But when we're in a scarcity, when our subconscious thinks, I'm not good enough, there's not enough money, I'm terrible with money, why does this keep happening? I feel like I'm stuck. What if I lose it all? Then you're not embodying abundance, okay? Your feelings are going to match the scarcity, even though you're trying to change your conscious thoughts. So you need to get the help. And you know this, when you want to lose weight, perfect example, you want to lose weight and you go to the gym, you know, if you get a PT or you go to the nutritionist and you get personalized plans to tailor you and where you're at, you get the fast results. And most of the time, people don't do that because they don't want to spend the money. They don't want to invest to quicken the time to get the result, but they wanted the result yesterday. Of course, I wanted the extra $1 million in my bank yesterday. I would be silly to say that I didn't. Of course, I want quick money. I want it fast. I want it now. I live in a fast-paced lifestyle. Of course, I want it now, because now is the only time now is your present time, right? But the reality is, if I want to speed things up and I don't know the strategy and I don't know how to get there and who I need to become to hold that, I need to get the help to do that. I need to surround myself with the people already doing it and learn what they're doing differently to what I'm doing that's not currently working. So it comes down to, I really want you to take away from this is your level of self-trust. Self-trust, self-trust, self-trust. And when you've grown up with money scarcity and money anxiety, you have trust issues. Like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? I laugh at that. You have trust issues. So how do you develop the trust? Trust is ever present. Trust is always there, and you can choose to trust. Right now, you probably have an evidence bank. You're like a shit ton of evidence from your past experience to prove lack of trust. So it's easier to not trust. Okay, I get that. This is something, it's like filling up the tank, the petrol, the trust petrol. I'm sure there's a better analogy. But you're filling up your tank with the trust petrol that you're choosing to trust. It's an embodiment. It's a practice until it becomes you. And how this shows up is I was a ballet dancer my whole life, okay? I wasn't athletic. I was a dancer, okay? Didn't like to run. Apparently, I have duck feet. Like, my feet turn out. I think they're a bit better now, but definitely when I was practicing ballet, my whole childhood and adolescence, I just was not good at running. So I've never believed I was a runner. I've always told myself I can't run, and I've always struggled to run. As I record this, it's 2026, but in 2025, between the whole of July, I should say this, and then as my adult life, like, I would run here and there, and I would go to gym classes where there'd be like sprints and stuff like that, but I'm talking like actual running long distances. And July 2025, I started training for the City to Surf 12K run. Now, I will say I never completed it because I fell pregnant 3 weeks out. And I tried and I trained. So I trained and I was getting up to 8 kilometers nonstop of running, which I was so proud at. And then I fell pregnant, and then I tried running, and I could get to 3 kilometers, and I was like, no, my body's just not having this. And that's okay. And I'm still currently pregnant as I record this. But the thing is, I know once I'm postpartum, once I know I can get back into exercise, I'm going to be smart about it and not push myself, but I'm going to start running again. Now, because I identify as a runner, I identify as someone who can run. And because I did all that training last year, it made it easier. And I'm like, I do run. I can run. This is easy. I remember hitting my first 2 kilometers and it was killing me. And then, as I trained, I'd hit 5 kilometers and be like, I can keep going. This is amazing. Because I changed my identity. And that I identify as someone who trusts herself. Like, I identify as someone who can run long distances. And I know, depending on where you're at with your fitness, 8 kilometers might not be long for you. It is long for me, right? And I have no desire to run marathons. Just the small things will do, right? Let's stick to the 8 kilometer, 10 kilometer, 12, maybe we'll see. Anyway, when it comes to money, like I had to change my identity, and this is what we're working on with my client, and this is what I want for you is you have to change your identity. And you know what? We're in a bloody day and age now where we're all identifying as something. So it's trending to be identifying as something. So why the fuck not identify with wealth? Okay, focus this trend, but I joke about it. The reality is focus your identity around money or who you want to be. To me, when I'm my wealthiest and richest, I trust that money is always coming no matter what. I trust when I sign the contract to buy our next investment property that puts us into more debt first before the value of the property grows, because you borrow other people's money, you borrow the bank's money or wherever you're getting the money from to invest. Give me a certain amount and I'll turn it into more money, right? When I'm in that phase and you're signing these contracts, I have to trust that everything's going to work out. Okay. Scarcity could be like, holy fucking shit, I'm going deeper in the hole. Freak out, freak out, freak out. When you're in that freak out mode, all you do is attract more reasons to freak out. That is manifesting. Okay. So you're needing to identify as a version of the woman who trusts in her ability to hold money, to make smart decisions, to know that it's a long-term gain, to know that money is coming, to know that I am always supported financially. And then when shit hits the fan, because life happens, when unexpected things occur, or when big investments or big decisions or big spendings are made, you can back yourself no matter what. Then you're stable. When the builders built your 2-story home, they followed the plans to the T. They didn't half-ass it. So you can walk around in your home and feel so stable. And you built that home in cyclone territory and you feel safe. Do you see where I'm going with this? That's what you need to be doing. So I'd love to know how that lands for you. Send me a message on social media, slide into my DMs on Instagram. All the links are in the show notes below. So scroll and connect with me. And look, if you're listening to this before the 28th of January, 2026, you can come join Rich Woman Energy. I am running for the very first time, and who knows when I'm going to run it again, because I am pregnant, and babies, if you don't know, you don't know. But if you're a mum, babies change timelines for things and commitments for things, and I'm cool with that. So I'm not committing to you to say I'm going to run this again. Only this time. It's a 10-day Telegram chat intensive. I say intensive because it's like if you're going to the gym, you always go to the gym like normal, but your gym is running a 10-day cleanse or a 10-day shred, and it's like a little 10-day ramp up where it's not that it's intense. It's 10 days of me coaching you in Telegram to become the rich woman, to change your energy, attract more money, stop the money leaks, become a magnet for more money, right? Elevate your energetic frequency, your vibration for wealth, because money is just energy. But I'm going to give you the practical steps you can start doing to plug the physical money leaks, to stop the overspending. And at the end of the 10 days, your identity is going to shift into the woman who trusts herself, backs herself, has more self-worth. I have the most powerful self-worth exercise that I'm going to be giving in there. You get lifetime access to it. The link is below. You can have a look at it all. Doors close on the 27th of January or until spaces fill, if that happens before, which most likely will. And if you're listening to this past that, send me a message and come and see, or come and click on the link, see how you can work with me, see how you can get into my world and be supported with your money, with your relationship with money, and start creating more wealth in your life. So you don't feel like you have to cut back or sacrifice your lifestyle, or restrict, or feel like you have to go make more money. Okay? This is about working with what you have, and then more money does come. And I know you much rather sit there, be in a more relaxed nervous system, enjoying your life, manifesting and attracting more money and more opportunities to you, than you spending every hour of your day hustling, pushing, working hard, hoping for the outcome. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to review and leave the 5 stars and do all the things. I appreciate it so, so much. And ask me any questions. Go onto my website. There's lots of free resources there you can plug into as well. I'm just here to support you create your wealthy as fuck life. See ya.